All right, hey, so what's up, you guys? My name is Josh. Welcome back to another video. And so yesterday I did a video basically talking about how NECA Toys has of course discontinued the line to create Godzilla collectibles. So sadly, they announced on their Twitter that they were, August is like kind of like the last month, it's your last chance to go get them before they completely disappear, which is honestly very sad on it, you know, it's very sad, to see that kind of happen, Now, while that was kind of a sad video, today this is going to be kind of I guess you could call it happy. I'm not very sure. But apparently, Playmates now official images started popping up around the internet, and they started showing some of the new Godzilla versus Kong toys. And honestly, they actually look really nice. I'm not gonna lie. Like I want to get those so bad. But the thing is, they might actually be out already because I already see people on YouTube kind of taking a look at them, and honestly, you see them and they look so good. They actually look very well made. Like I was very shocked. I remember months ago there were blurry pictures kind of popping out on the internet showing some of the toys, but like I said, the pictures were very blurry, so you couldn't really make out what did the toys look like. And obviously, Playmates Toys at New York Toy Fair, they didn't want to reveal the toy. They didn't want to talk about him because obviously some of them were possible spoilers for the film. Even though some of them they kind of are, but this type of spoilers that the toys are showing, they don't really necessarily bother me, nor do they bother some other people. They call them spoilers, but I doubt it. That's just my opinion. As you can see here, I got some of the Playmates figures with me right here. And, that's another thing I do want to talk about with the situation with Playmates. Months ago, I want to say maybe around December or maybe even January, I remember doing a video talking about how Playmates are now going to do the figures. But the reaction to the figures were very negative because of the way that they look. And, obviously, as you can see here, my poor boy Shin Godzilla, he's the most hated out of the bunch, where people started kind of assuming that NECA stole. I mean, no, not NECA. I apologize. No, a lot of people have been going around the internet saying that Playmates Toys stole the sculpt of their Shin Godzilla to make this, even though I obviously don't think so. A lot of people are still on that debate. In fact, I'm already seeing, like, oh my god, I hate Reddit, honestly. Like, I'm already seeing stuff on Reddit talking about how, like, NECA gave up the toy line for this, and I'm like, oh my god. Now what we have to remember from Playmates is that they're known for doing kids toys, like just plain kids toys. They own the Ninja Turtles toy line, a couple other ones too you probably never even heard of. Maybe you have Toxic Crusader, Earthworm Jim. Playmates, they're a competent company, even though for the past couple of years they've been looked down upon. Like especially with the 2012 Turtles, I remember when they figures started off good, but then they started to get a little bit of a downgrade because there was a shortage of paint. So every time we got a new Ninja Turtle figure, they had less paint every time. Even when they have like the straps and stuff, they will be unpainted. That doesn't bother me too much as long as it's not too noticeable. Obviously, the one that got hurt the most was the Mystic Turtles lines, but then again, that's a story for another video. I know I haven't talked about Ninja Turtles in a while, but you can't talk about Ninja Turtles without talking about Playmates, since that was the toy line that basically got them on the map. They were the ones that did the classic turtle lines, So it's very amazing to see a company like this to start doing Godzilla toys. But like I said, despite a lot of the positivity, that they're getting with their Godzilla versus Kong. These figures, not so much. Now, I already did like a video based on my thoughts on the line, and I already said it too. Like, I personally really do like these figures. As you can see, I was missing all of them except for Gigan. I was able to finally get Gigan, which is very nice. A lot of people said that this is the best figure out of all of them. I definitely do agree with that. This is definitely, it's very accurate. Paint is amazing. This is really nice, you know. It's surprisingly better than the movie Monster Series ones. A collector's figure from Japan. That's a shocker. Now, obviously, why do people get very turned off with these figures? Now, I already explained the situation with Shin Godzilla. Let's move on to the other one, that is Space Godzilla. Now, at first, I had my doubts too. I thought it was a little odd with the choices that they did with Space Godzilla. I wasn't really too sure of what they were doing. The paint job is obviously very wrong. He's not supposed to be black. He's supposed to be like sort of a bluish, grayish color. His face, he looks like he's smoking crack, you know, so I get it. You know, what my situation is with these figures is that Playmates, they do, you know, these are obviously meant to be for children. This is not meant for adult collectors. But the reason why you see a lot of adults complaining about these is because obviously you're supposed to oops. I'm sorry about that. You're supposed to compare these to the Bandai ones because they are very similar. You know, like it's basically they are so similar you could kind of confuse them for a Bandai one, and that's what Playmates did. Now they also secured rights to have some of the ones that Bandai made in the past. You know, the one who fell is Classic 1954 Godzilla. This is the Bandai Creations version. You know, so, you know, there's a lot of things that's been kind of going on with the whole line, you know. I don't think they'll have any problems personally. I think they'll do just fine. You know, I know a lot of people are still very negative about them, even though personally I think the negativity it's kind of I don't know. I respect your opinion, okay? I respect people's opinions. If you don't like the toy line, that's okay. If you don't like what Playmates do, that's okay. But oh my god, this stuff that I see all over, and I see this crap on Reddit. Oh my dear god! Now I'm not a Reddit user, but I know that when they started reviewing some of the toys that Playmates made, that's where some of the sources originated from. They originated from Reddit, where you got people basically complaining like how, oh, these look terrible, and even on some of the YouTube videos too. Everybody was like, oh, these are garbage. And, you know, some people, you know, obviously I'm one of them. Some people don't think that these figures are bad at all. I actually think these are pretty solid. You know, they look, I get that they don't look perfect. That's fine. You're never going to have a perfect toy. You have to understand that. And this goes with everything. You're never really going to have a nice, perfect action figure the way you want it. Like, you could get the character you want, you know, it's your favorite character and all, whatever, but there's always going to be something off about it, all right? And that goes with anything, not just Godzilla toys, not just Ninja Turtles, not just NECA collectors. That's going to go with pretty much everything. Okay, maybe NECA a little bit, because they actually have done some pretty nice figures that are just perfect. But, yeah, let's just focus on this. You know, that's the message I just want to kind of get across. Because, you know, like I said, despite the bad rap that Playmates toys get for these figures, I think that there's definitely still hope for these. They sold well, so it makes sense why they will want to keep making more. So now that I'm done talking about the situation with Playmates, let's talk about the new figures. Yeah, they look really nice. I'm not gonna lie. Like they actually look, in fact, they look much better than these. The more you think about it, you could definitely tell that a lot more effort is getting put into them than with these, and that's perfectly fine. The way I look at it, it's like Playmates listen to the criticism and then boom, there you go. At least now you got these nice little figures right here, right? You know, they so far only 3 figures have been revealed with, you know, and they also what was it? So they showed us the 11-inch Godzilla and the 11-inch Kong. They're basically the same size as like this. They're very similar. Like I already see a couple people. They already got the 2020 Kong or 2021 Kong, whatever you want to call it. You know, they already got that. You know, obviously this is Kong from Skull Island, obviously, and this is 2004 Godzilla. I have not reviewed these figures, but I would like to in the near future. So that we need to kind of get a look at. Another figure that has been revealed is like this nice little action figure of Kong. They call it the Kong with battle axe. Now that wow, like I remember when the blurry pictures were surfacing around the internet. I'll be honest, they look nice, but it didn't look like my cup of tea. Like it didn't really look like I was going to enjoy them as much as these. But that Kong figure actually looks really nice. He's articulated. He got articulation, you know, around the arms, the wrists, even in the legs. And he got a weapon. He got the giant battle axe, which there's a rumor going around online that people think that the axe part of the weapon might actually be a spine, one of the little spikes from Godzilla's back, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how that's going to go in the movie. Man, you know what the problem is? The movie was supposed to come out this year, but it got delayed to next year because of this stupid pandemic. So whatever you do, please wear a mask so this pandemic could finish quick, please, because we are nowhere near any progress, ladies and gentlemen. We got remember that. How's my live chat doing? What's the snake kaiju's name? Yeah, that particular figure. It hasn't been officially revealed. Like there's a picture of it, but it's a blurry image. You can't really tell exactly what it is. Yeah, there was a couple of other figures that were going to be made too, alongside with the Kong with battle axe. They also have a nice Godzilla figure. They have one of those weird creatures from Kong Skull Island. I can't really remember the name exactly, so I do apologize for that. I barely watch Kong Skull Island. Like every time I do watch it, it's mostly on TV, and I just kind of ignore it. I've watched it. I'm trying to remember when was the last time I officially watched it. I'm trying to think. And then there's the snake creature that the person in the live chat mentioned. So there's that. Yeah. But let's go back to that Kong figure. And one thing I forgot to mention is that a lot of those figures, they also have battle damage, which meaning they also got like Kong, he had like a shoulder piece, and you could literally take it off. And I was like, wow, that looks so cool. And you could do that with the other figures too. Like they have one Godzilla figure that has that. The snake creature has it. I really like what Playmates has been doing. It's like. You could tell that you could tell, like I said, those figures definitely had a little bit more effort than these. I don't think Playmates were expecting to make these figures that came out this year, so maybe that's why the quality on them is questionable. Now, those figures, right? I would definitely get them, but I probably wouldn't put them in the same collection as these because obviously they're meant to be a little bit more different. While these are meant to look very similar to those classic vinyls that Japan sells with their movie monster line. But I definitely for sure, if you buy the 11-inch Godzilla and the 11-inch Kong, they definitely look like they're perfect for these figures. I just thought I mentioned that because, I mean, how do I explain? It's like, you could definitely tell that Playmates is trying to do like kind of like trying to make them very varied, like trying to make them a little different from each other. And instead of all of them just being the same, they're all kind of different. Very similar to what Jack Pacific did. They did kind of the same thing, except their toys were definitely much more for children. I have a few of them. I've reviewed some of them way back in the past, but I Playmates is just better. Honestly, I like Playmates. Like I say, I watch all these YouTube videos, and yeah, they don't really. Oh my god, they get so much hate, and I'm like, like you have to remember these are kids' toys. These are not meant for collectors. The reason why collectors are buying them, because like I say, they look very reminiscent to those of the movie monster lines that Japan sold. Not counting that Bandai, Bandai, it's an international company. They have company in Japan and then a company here in the US. So obviously it makes sense that they're going to want to release different types of Godzilla figures both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like for an example, the King Caesar one I had, right? Sorry about that. Right? This used to be a kid's toy, but now this is considered a collector's in Japan. But if you look over here in America, this is still considered a kid's toy. That sounds very confusing, but that's kind of how it works. It's confused. It sounds strange. I know. It's like, Josh, you're confusing the hell out of me. But I'm trying to explain this information the best way I can. Because honestly, even when I saw the reactions of different people when they first saw these new Godzilla vs. Kong figures, a lot of people really do like them. Like YouTubers like Luminous, and there was another guy named Trisac. I hope I'm not spelling his name wrong. They all think that they looked amazing, and I think that those toys look great too. And without a doubt, there's definitely going to be more because there were way more figures that were shown back in those blurry images that were popping up online months ago. Mind you, I think this was before the pandemic got worse. So just to kind of give you a hint on how long ago these pictures were surfacing around the internet. So, it's good to know that we looked into that. That I find very good news. I like what Playmates is doing, and I hope that they'll continue with the line. Some people are obviously gonna want to call me crazy because, like I say, these toys get like very negative feedback. But like I said, we have to remember at the end of the day, these are not really meant for us. They look, it's like they kind of are, but they kind of aren't. It's just that these are classic characters. Godzilla is such an iconic character. Like a little kid might not know where Space Godzilla came from, but they'll be amused by it either way. But us adult collectors, we know who Space Godzilla is. Same goes for Gigan. I mean, depending on how old you were during when the movie came out, Godzilla Final Wars. But just to kind of give you guys a good idea of what we're doing with these figures. Either way, maybe at the end of the day, obviously what I say doesn't really convince people. I know very well people are still gonna be like, oh, these toys suck, you know what you're talking about. It is just my opinion. I like them, maybe you don't. I hope maybe what I say kind of gets through to you, but if it doesn't, I mean, whatever. There's others that you could go to, kind of, because I know NECA's bye-bye. They're not going to be around for that long with the Godzilla line. There's also the SH Monster Arts figures too that has kind of, they're really expensive, and only sometimes are their Godzilla toys good and sometimes they're not. It usually depends. I get it. As an American, when you love something that's out of the US, it gets kind of hard to get the merchandise. So take the advantage the best way you can, because you know very well that, they released the toys for the film, and as soon as the film is no longer in theaters, that those toys are going to be gone. Like those Jack specific Godzilla figures, I don't see them no more. They're completely gone. I don't, I didn't manage to get all of them. I don't regret it though, because I mean, whatever. These are, like I said, these are way better anyway. I'd rather buy these than the Jack specific ones. You might disagree with me, but hey, that's why the world's different. Everybody has their own opinions. We understand that. Speaking of opinions, one last thing I do kind of want to mention. I talk so much about Reddit. Well, not so much, but I talked a little bit about Reddit and how they kind of have like a weird hate boner with the Playmates line. Like I see so many pictures popping up saying, "Oh, NECA gave up their line for this," and I'm like, "Oh, geez." And I'm still sticking with my argument. These are kids' toys, so you can't be freaking out over a toy that you're not even sure if you're gonna buy. I'm not telling you to go buy them, but take a good look at them. Go to the store, look at them. They're literally outside of the box. You can touch it. You can feel it. You could stare at its very ugly face. No, really. You could literally stare at its face. Don't mind the blue light because, I don't know, my laptop is very stupid. But yeah, there you go, What else can I say? Because a lot of people, for some reason, there's some people that are already disappointed with the figures because they look promotional images. But I'm like, dude, that goes for anything. You think when you look at the SH Monster Arts Godzilla line, you look at those promotional pictures, they look nice, but when you get the actual figures, they don't look nothing like the promotional pictures. Same goes for the Ninja Turtles. You know how many times they showed a nice turtle figure, very beautifully painted, and then when you actually buy it, it looks not so painted? That goes for pretty much anything, you know? We have to understand that. What you see in the advertisement is never really 100% going to match what you actually see in the store. So we have to kind of, remember that, let's try and think of it like that, what I'm trying to say is that can we just stop assuming stuff and let's just at least look more into it before we say something? Because, like I said, I had my doubts at first about the toy line, but I ended up loving them and I got all of them. Well, almost, because now you got the new Godzilla vs. Kong toys, which now I need to get those. Luckily, they're not as expensive as NECA figures. But I still need to get the last NECA toys of Godzilla before they disappear. So, yeah, better get on that, right? So what's my final message, right? Yeah, I don't really have one. I mean, I guess that's pretty. I already pretty much said what I want to say. So yeah, pretty soon I should be doing another Ultraman review soon. Hopefully, if nothing, goes bonkers. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. Maybe I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to make one today, so I got a little lucky. Yeah, so what I plan to do for my next video hopefully is to finally review some Ultraman figures. I've been meaning to talk about that. If you don't know who Ultraman is, well, here you go. Yeah, so we'll take care of that. And that's pretty much it. Actually, no, I do have one last thing to say. Look at that thing's face. Look at it. I want you to stare at that face. It's in pain. It suffered so much. Look at it. People said that NECA stole the scope from this. While I understand that there's some comparisons, I'm still saying no. I'm still standing by that. So please don't get upset with me for saying that. If I have to make another video talking about this situation, I will, but just leave it to rest already. There's other Godzilla figures you need to worry about. Not just Shin Godzilla. He already suffered enough. Let's just stop. Hi, Lulu. Lulu. Hey. She's so adorable, huh? All right. Bye, guys.